It's Michigan football overreaction Sunday. Gonna flip out about what happened in the game yesterday. Talk to you guys about what's going on around the program. But first, I want to thank you for getting us to 10,500 subscribers before Thanksgiving. Wife let me eat with the family, so big time win for me. And blew right past it at almost 10,700. So next milestone. If you haven't watched, join the most exclusive club, the MFers Club, Michigan Football Report, MFR. Be an MFer today. Subscribe to the channel. It is Michigan Football Overreaction coming up right now. Welcome in. As always, I am your host, James Yoder. It's the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. Going to kind of walk through 6 things that are on my mind following yesterday's putrid 27-17 performance against Penn State, an 0-5 Penn State team, and what I would call a lifeless Michigan football program. Let's take a look at number one. The number one thing that's on my mind, the offense is just bad. Doesn't matter who plays. It doesn't matter if Zach Charbonnet is in the game. Doesn't matter if Giles Jackson sits out. If he doesn't sit out, doesn't matter if Cade Mcnamara is the quarterback or Jordan Milton's the quarterback. The offense is bad, and you were sold a bill of goods. I was sold a bill of goods. A snake oil salesman named Josh Gaddis came into town on his train from Alabama, and he was saying, "Speed in space! Speed in space! Speed in space! We're running everywhere! Look how fast I am! Speed in space!" Okay, and it was a complete lie, okay? It was completely ridiculous because this is the most old, outdated, unimaginative, lack of creative offense I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. 3rd and 8, sure, we'll run a 6-yard curl and then skip the ball off the ground 4 yards in front of the dang wide receiver, but this offense is brutal. They can't keep any consistency. Hassan Haskins, doing great last week, comes in, breaks off a 50-yard run, gets in the end zone early on, and then he go almost 2 quarters we don't give him any runs. Zach Charbonnet doesn't play for this football team anymore, it seems. Blake Corum, they'll give him a run inside the 10, but we won't see him for another quarter after that. I don't understand what this team is doing. There is no consistency on offense. It doesn't matter who plays, and frankly, since the 2015 season, it really hasn't mattered who the offensive coordinator is for Michigan at all. As long as they're working under Jim Harbaugh, this offense is completely unimaginative. They wasted a lot of talent in 2018 and 2019. That continues on in 2020. That is my number one overreaction, but I do want to tell you guys about our sports book partner, BetUS. Sponsor the show. If you guys haven't seen before, we are working with BetUS all season long, and they have hooked you guys up with the best promo in the game, 125% deposit bonus. Go to chatsports.com/goblue. It is an easy win for you, I think, betting against Maryland this upcoming weekend, because I think Michigan is favored by 5 points in the early lines, which is crazy to me because they're going to lose the game. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. You got to use that URL to get the deposit bonus. Type in the promo code GoBlue. Put in 100. You have an extra 125. Put in 2. Get an extra 250. You're smart. You watch the show. You can do basic math. Get going with BetUS. Put money on the Michigan football game this weekend. Put it on the Michigan-Ohio State game. It's a massacre. You know what that's going to be about. Get going in the NFL playoffs. March Madness just a few months away. That is our sponsor. Thank you so much for BetUS for coming along for the ride. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. Type it into your browser right now. Number 2. Cade Mcnamara is out for the regular season. And I don't know if it'll be the entire season should Michigan go to a bowl game, because even though they're likely going to end up with a losing record, they still could go to a bowl game. And the Michigan football team is typically a good draw. But I'm not sure how much of a draw they're going to be, if it's only a TV game. Bowl games a lot of times pick Michigan, even when they're not deserving, because they think their fans will travel. Now, I still think Michigan fans will watch on TV, but I'm not sure how much a 3-6 or a 2-7 Michigan team, how interesting that'll be to a bowl team. But Cade Mcnamara is not going to play against Maryland, it seems. He's not going to play against Ohio State, and he won't play in the championship week crossover game against, Illinois, which would be pretty funny if Brandon Peters beat Jim Harbaugh in Harbaugh's final game as Michigan's coach, maybe, given that Peters was Harbaugh's first quarterback recruit when he came to Michigan. It'd be a little bit of the tables have turned on there. So don't expect to see Cade Mcnamara this week against Maryland. Don't expect to see him against Ohio State unless something drastically changes. I'm hearing the injury is severe enough to keep him out at least 2 to 4 weeks, if not longer. But what is the deal with this? Toss it on the screen, Sam. Producer Sam behind the scene. What is the deal with the approach that Michigan takes when it comes to players being benched or players moving from first string to second string? Jim Harbaugh talking about the announcers telling Mike Golick that Joe Milton wasn't in the game because he was injured, but then a quarter into the game, quarter and a half, Cade Mcnamara gets hurt and Joe Milton comes right in, looks fine. I mean, he doesn't look injured at all, doesn't play fine, but I don't understand why Michigan continues to do this. They did it under Brady Hoke. I don't remember if they did it under Rich Rod, but they definitely did it under Lloyd Carr, where they just make up stories when everybody knows what the truth is. Joe Milton got benched. Cade McNamara looked better. Don't invent some injury for Joe Milton to try and justify him. No one thinks you're throwing him under the bus. We all have eyes. We all saw him playing bad. It doesn't matter, but I am sick of Jim Harbaugh just putting out these random-ass things out into the world and no one calling him out in it. So I will do the dirty work. I'm calling you out, Jim Harbaugh. Quit lying about things, right? If you bench a guy, just say, so we're giving somebody else another shot. He played better. It's all that matters. Everyone knows what the deal is. We all have eyes. But I want you guys to do this. Predict Michigan's record in their final two games, the next two games, I guess, the ones that are on the schedule. We know the opponent. Maryland at home on Saturday, and then noon on December 12th against Ohio State, which, oh my gosh, it could be the biggest massacre in the history of college football. It could be like 95-0 as far as I can see. So it's really 0-2 or 1-1. No one in the right mind is going to put 2-0, right? And if you put 1-1, that one victory certainly isn't going to be against Ohio State. It'll be against Maryland. But predict below. I'll pin this comment down below the video. Put my prediction below. Go down, comment right now. If you get hit with the YouTube ad break, comment, scroll right back up. Also, while you guys are commenting down there, I'll put my link down in the comments to follow me on Twitter. I think I'm a wonderful tweet. I mix in facts with humor, mixed in with, I don't know, just random stuff. At James Yoder on Twitter. Go ahead, follow me on Twitter right now if you haven't yet. And tell me you're an MFer. I've been following anybody who says, yo, James, I'm an MFer, Michigan Football Report watcher. That makes you an MFer. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter. Number 3, toss it on screen, Sam. The Michigan football situation with Jim Harbaugh's contract has become impossible, or as they'd say in The Simpsons, impossible, right? Because if you extend Jim Harbaugh right now after a 2-4 start, after 0-3 at home, or if you extend him after the Maryland game or the Ohio State game, it doesn't matter when you extend him, you look like the biggest laughingstock in all of college football. Now, if Jim Harbaugh had been extended after last season, after the Minnesota game, middle of the summer, I guess it was like not the right time because of the coronavirus pandemic and laying people off of the athletic department. That's fine. But they have backed themselves into a corner because if they extend him, they look like fools. If they don't extend him, they look like fools. If they keep him, if they don't extend him, they keep him. And now it comes to a situation where 2 weeks from now, Michigan will find out what opponent they're playing in the championship crossover game, and then it'll be dead man walking for Jim Harbaugh. So if you extend him in the next 2 weeks, you're the laughingstock of college football. If you wait till after the Ohio State game and you get murdered, no matter what you do, you're going to be the laughingstock of college football unless you fire him, which some people say, oh, Michigan's not going to do. So Michigan really, really screwed up here by letting Harbaugh go into the season without a contract, without an extension, because if you had a 3-year extension left on there, a lot of people could say, well, just give him another year. This is a mulligan year. It's fine. Pandemic. All these players opted out. Kwity Paye, Aiden Hutchinson, Ambry Thomas, Nico Collins, all these guys opted out, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, I get it. But you didn't. And so you enter the season with 2 years contract left. The season goes off the rails, a complete disaster. And so you're put in the position. You got to re-sign him. You got to extend his contract. Or you got to fire him. You can't go into next year without a contract extension. It will absolutely kill recruiting. So I'm not sure why Michigan didn't have the foresight to see that coming. And it is what it is. But if you guys want Michigan to fire Harbaugh, I'm asking you this. I'm going to compare it to other videos. Hit the like button on this video. If you would like to say you're fired to Jim Harbaugh, like this video. I don't know, if we get to like 1,000 likes, we might have a Fire Jim Harbaugh party right here on the show live when he gets ousted as Michigan's coach, if that's what goes down. But go ahead and like the video. Number 4. This recruiting class is about to fall apart, in my opinion. Okay? You've got at least one linebacker, a kid out of Florida. I'm not going to name his name here, because he's been a little coy. He's about to decommit. You've got Xavier Worthy. Michigan's best skill position player, recruit, right, commit, wide receiver, at Alabama having a jolly old time. He is having a recruiting announcement with hats on the table on signing day in a couple weeks, so you know he's gone, right? Why would you watch a Michigan game as a big-time top 100, top 150 wide receiver recruit from California, watch a Michigan game, and then watch an Alabama game? Why in the world would you go to Michigan if you think Alabama wants you and they're going to offer you playing time? You wouldn't. So I think Xavier Worthy's gone. I don't expect Michigan not to have. I think they'll have at least 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 recruits decommit and start looking elsewhere. I hope J.J. McCarthy sticks around, but I'll tell you what, wouldn't be wise for him to stick around because Michigan has not shown that they can take high-level quarterback talent across the board. 6 years with Jim Harbaugh have not proven they can turn that into NFL-level talent. And with this guy here, Matt Dudek, running recruiting, you're certainly not putting any confidence in these recruits that, I'm sure Dudek is not saying the right things to him, and he's completely unmatched by his counterpart at Ohio State, Mark Pantoni. Take a look at these numbers. Since Dudek took over Michigan recruiting, he started 2017 summer through the 2022 class, which is the junior class, which they're all recruiting for right now. In these 5 recruiting classes, Mark Pantoni and Ohio State have absolutely dunked and dominated on Michigan and Matt Dudek in that time period, and it's not going to change here with Jim Harbaugh's contract extension or firing or not firing, all the stuff that's out there. It's certainly not going to help. You've got a below-average recruiting coordinator, and he's in and over his head, in my opinion. So I think this recruiting class will fall apart because of 3 things: the contract extension, the performance in the field, and a completely unqualified recruiting coordinator named Matt Dudek, who's been with this program for 3.5 years. And if you take a look at what the issues are at Michigan football, haven't recruited the right people at quarterback, haven't recruited the 2 biggest positions you need to compete with Ohio State, secondary players, interior defensive linemen. Michigan is putting walk-ons in those positions, right? 3 walk-ons, played a ton of time yesterday. Matt Dudek's over his head, so I ask you guys, spam the comments. If you're with me that Michigan's recruiting is not up to par, you think they need to, whether Harbaugh's the coach or not, find somebody who can go out and inspire confidence, scour the earth, find the best prospects, bring them into Michigan, convince them to be a part of this program. Type Fire Dudek below in the comments. Going to go through our last 2 really quick here. Don Brown's defense. What the F, man? This is a terrible defense. And the most important thing that I saw yesterday on the defensive side with Don Brown's defense is that Sean Clifford, the Penn State quarterback, seemed to be faster than every single player Michigan had out on the field. And the second thing about that, Penn State was on their 4th running back yesterday. Their top 3 guys are either opting out, hurt, or have medical situation where they've had to retire from football. 4th and 5th string running back and the quarterback, they put up like 270 some yards rushing against Don Brown's defense. It's been a complete disaster, and frankly, I am sick and tired of it. I need to see Don Brown out the door as soon as possible. Reminder one more time, guys, subscribe to the channel. We're at 10,682 subscribers. We've doubled in the last 2.5, 3 months since the Big Ten season came back and all that's going on with Michigan football, Big Ten 2020. You guys have supported the show. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the sub button. You'll know every time we have a video, and you can officially be an MFer. Next one up on our list. This is tough to say. Michigan football just isn't enjoyable to watch. After like the first quarter of the last 5 games, I've kind of been more interested in just scrolling Twitter or, I don't know, thinking about what I'm going to say on the show afterwards. But I'm like, the games aren't enjoyable at all. The offense is terrible to watch. The defense is lackluster. And it doesn't seem, even me as a fan or as a host of the show, it doesn't seem enjoyable. But how about this? It doesn't seem enjoyable to the players, the coaches. They run out of the tunnel, 0-3 at home, by the way, and they just kind of jump up and tap the banner and just like, yeah. When Michigan was trying to get a 4th down, when they're down by 10 late in the game, 5-6 minutes left in the game, Joe Milton, looked really awkward trying to take a snap under center and fall forward. It was really, really awkward looking, like he had never done it before. But it was close, right? There was going to be a measurement. Michigan's football players, offensive linemen, wide receivers, running backs, they didn't even do one of these. No, we got it. They didn't hurtle around. They tried to influence the refs. They just all did this. The second the ball was snapped, they just did this. Right? They lowered their heads and they sulked off the field. So they're not enjoying being part of this program. So why would you as fans? I hope this show is enjoyable to you if the program is not. The bosses are making me watch the game every week, so I got to watch Maryland this week. I got to watch Ohio State Massacre in 2 weeks, and whatever that last game is, hopefully is the last game of the Jim Harbaugh era at this program. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit this button right here, and you'll be subscribed. You'll now be an MFer. Tweet at me at James Yoder. James, I subscribe. I'm an MFer. And if you didn't see my post-game show yesterday, I'm going to toss it for you right here. It is a man ranting in his guest bedroom about Michigan football. Go ahead and click and watch it right now. Go Blue.